Hello. Welcome to Police Roll Call. This is Stanley Cohen. I'm a former Cincinnati, Ohio police officer, and I taught law in the criminal justice program at Indiana University of Pennsylvania in Indiana, PA. The goal of this channel is to bring to you, the police officer on the street, appellate court decisions that affect the authority of police officers to enforce the law on the street and in the court, and to enable police officers and district attorneys to defeat motions to suppress evidence and to dismiss charges. The case that I'm going to discuss with you and state today is Commonwealth versus Arias. It's a case that was decided by the Pennsylvania Superior Court, and you can find this case at the following citation if you want to make a note of this. 2022 PA Super 2022, and the date of the decision is November 30th of 2022. Now, the facts that are involved in this case are not complicated. They're pretty straightforward. A police officer was watching a car that was parked in an unusual place in a parking lot where cars are not usually parked, and it's in a high area for illegal drug traffic. So he watched this car for a total of 45 minutes. And during this time, he checked on the license plate and learned that it was an illegal plate. It was registered to another car other than the car on which it was placed. And so after waiting 45 minutes, he decided that it's time to walk up to the driver. So he approached the car. And as he got closer to the car, he could smell the odor of marijuana coming from the car. So the officer went up to the driver. He asked for documentation, license, and then he asked this question. He asked, "How long have you been parked here, sir?" And the man answered, 10 minutes, officer. The officer said, "That's not totally correct. I saw you and watched you for 45 minutes. And now, sir, I'm going to ask you to get out of the car." So he asked the man to get out. The man got out of the car, and the officer, roll call. This is the time for a roll call question. What action would the officer in this case, or you, have authority to take on this car and this person under the law? What action? Why don't you try to think of the answer to this question before we proceed? I'll give you a moment. Well, what the officer did after getting the man out of the car is, and with a backup officer standing nearby, he entered the car, searched without a search warrant. He was searching under the automobile exception because there was an emergency present here. The driver was able to drive the car away before a warrant could be obtained, and so there was an urgent emergency situation justifying an immediate search without a search warrant under the automobile exception. So he searched. He found evidence. He charged the man with crime. He went to court. And in court, he filed a motion to suppress the evidence. He argued that the search by the officer was illegal. It was based on marijuana odor, and this is not sufficient for probable cause. And so this is the stature of the case as the Superior Court was going to decide how to rule on his appeal. He was convicted in trial court, and he appealed the conviction and argued that the search was illegal. The court approved of the trial court denial of the motion. The Superior Court reasoned as follows. True, the officer smelled marijuana in the car, but this was not the only factor that was in the officer's mind informing probable cause. The officer had the additional facts of the car being parked in an unusual location of the parking lot. License plate was illegal, and the officer watched the car for 45 minutes. He approached the car. He smelled the odor of marijuana coming from the car. And when he asked the driver how long he had been there, the driver lied, saying he was there 10 minutes, and the officer well knew he had been there for 45 minutes. So the Superior Court took a look at the totality of the circumstances And the reason that when all of these facts are put together, they justified the officer in objectively reasoning, concluding that he had probable cause to search the car without a search warrant under the automobile exception. And so that is the Arias case. It's a good case for all of you to keep in mind when you're on the street and use it as a guideline. The facts in your situation will not be identical to the facts in Arias, and they don't need to be. They just need to be facts which, when you draw the natural inferences from those facts and add them to the facts and add them to the odor of marijuana, that they give you a basis for having probable cause to search the car. So if you'd like to hear more court decisions like this one affecting the authority of police officers on the street, please subscribe below. And thank you for your time and your attention to this video.